Introduction to Capria VentureBasecamp. I'd like to introduce you to VentureBasecamp. VentureBasecamp is a program developed by veteran entrepreneurs and funders as a mechanism to give you the understanding, knowledge, and most importantly, the skills to build, finance, and run your business. It's certainly not the only program out there to do this, but it's built from a very different perspective. We call it VentureBasecamp because building a business is like scaling a really high, difficult mountain. There are 1,000 things you need to know and do right in the right order, not to slip and fall, and to make it to the summit that's your target. The nice thing is that once you know your destination, have a roadmap to get there, and some basic skills, you can learn a lot of the other skills as you need them on the way. But there are some skills you want to know before you get on that mountain. VentureBasecamp takes you through a learning and skill building process that prepares you to build and grow a viable, fundable business. There's a lot there. It begins with a self-assessment that looks at your knowledge and skills in each of these 12 critical success elements of a business. It then teaches you just what you need to know based on the results of the assessment. It's only going to teach you things you need. It breaks down each set of modules into bite-sized chapters and has a set of exercises you can do to solidify your understanding and skills. In addition, the team who's working with you, whether it's an incubator or accelerator fund or mentor, can follow along with your progress through a dashboard because the system's all automated. An example of something unique in the VentureBasecamp model is looking at things like riskiest assumptions. Not something that immediately comes to mind, but it's one of the things most experienced entrepreneurs cite as something they wish they had known before jumping into their business. How to reduce the risk in building their business. Things like unit economics, market validation, listening to customers. These are really important skills you need. In the VentureBasecamp modules, we'll hone your ability to identify these risks, assumptions, and unknowns and prioritize which ones you need to tackle first. This is one of dozens of modules for you to use as you need. Lastly, something we focus on heavily in VentureBasecamp is, as we've talked about, thinking like an investor. Remember, the most important investor in your business is you. You're the person that's giving up the most. You're sacrificing the most. You're investing your reputation, your career, your talent, your focus, your savings. You're putting yourself into this business, which is the most valuable asset you have, worth as much as any amount of money you put in your business. It's absolutely essential to giving you the right mindset and understanding of how you build your company. VentureBasecamp ends with a program specifically to help you build a pitch to funders to get the funding you need. We call that Pitch Perfect. Now, if you're like me, you may want to jump straight to that funding part and try to pitch to get money now and figure out the rest later. I understand that. You can do whatever you want, but I just want to remind you, funders are pretty smart, and just knowing how to pitch your business is not enough. You have to be able to really show that you understand and can execute against all the questions an investor will ask. Look, you're an entrepreneur. Do what you think is right. We built VentureBasecamp for you. There's a lot here, and we'll try to make it accessible and easy and get you through the process as quick as we can. Let me stop for a minute. I want to give you a pitch for taking the time and putting in the work to fully complete VentureBasecamp. You're a startup entrepreneur. You understand how difficult this journey is that you're about to embark on, and yet you still want to go ahead. Okay, so let me ask you this. How much is it worth for you to get funding? Is it worth a few $100s? Is it worth thousands? Is it worth millions? If you could get funding you needed and you could build that viable and successful venture business, it's worth millions, isn't it? That's exactly what we're offering to you through VentureBasecamp. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine I offered you a job that would pay you millions of dollars. And imagine that job was to learn all the skills to run a great business, to run a great company. If I paid you millions, how hard would you work at that job? You'd work at it hard. Okay, so listen up. This is what I'm offering you. You're busy and you know a lot already, but you may not have all the knowledge or skills to be qualified to get the funding you're looking for, or to build that business to success, to be one of the 10% who survive, or to be one of the 1% who do incredibly well with their business, that makes millions for their investors and millions for themselves. But guess what? It takes real time, work, and focus. If you're looking for a quick fix or think you don't have to take the time to do this stuff, I'm afraid you're not a startup entrepreneur. We're going to take you on a journey with VentureBasecamp, and we're going to teach you hundreds of things. Stay with us and do the work, and you'll build a strong, viable, fundable, successful business.